welcome to team number 30. The next time that I do any kind of a list like this, Vegas gets thrown into the mix. And so between now and then, the thumbnails you see for these, I'm going to replace them. I've got jerseys for every team. In fact, before I get into this Winnipeg thing, have you guys noticed something? I have both Winnipeg jerseys. So at this time last year when I was talking about Winnipeg, I'd always wear Thrashers gear, and people in Winnipeg would get kind of upset. Maybe I'd wear my Jets hat, but I'd have Thrashers gear on. Now I have both Jets jerseys. So we're all friends, right? And yes, the Heritage Classic jersey is better than both of these, but you know what? When they're on sale, what the heck have I got going on here? I don't know. Sorry about that. Like, look, I got a Jets jersey. Yeah, it's already got some kind of... It's either detergent or it's sugar, because I'm a high-class kind of guy that way. All right. Either way, it's I like this jersey a lot. Currently on lids.ca, they've got a bunch of jerseys at half price. So since it was $70, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get a jersey for the Winnipeg Jets cheaper than that. They very rarely go on sale, and I don't think they will next year either, because I think the Jets are finally legitimately ready to make the playoffs this coming season. But it's going to depend on what they do this summer, and they've got money to do stuff this summer, so let's see what they do. So the returning forwards, Scheifele, Wheeler, Little, Perreault, Matthias, Lowry, Lane, Armia, Ehlers, and Petan. Now from Lane down, they're all on really, really cheap contracts. That's key. Entry-level contracts, cheap contracts, those are gold in this era. Absolute gold to have guys on contracts that are below what they're worth. Because once those contracts run out and you're paying everybody what they're worth, you got cap problems. So the only restricted free agents they have are Brendan Tanev, who I still wish the Canucks had him just to play him, just play them together. Marco Dano, who I don't know if he's going to come back to Winnipeg next year. He's been unimpressive with 3 different organizations so far, so I don't know if he comes back. And Andrew Kopp, who I think will re-sign, and it won't be an expensive one. Up front, Kyle Connor's going to get his shot this fall at making the team. I think Jack Roslovic will get his shot at making the team as well. And Brendan Lemieux. Now, Lemieux didn't put up great totals in the minors this year, but a lot of penalty minutes. And there's sandpaper there. And with Thorburn going out, and I don't think they're going to re-sign Thorburn, there could be room there for the sandpaper that Brendan Lemieux provides. He's probably not going to be a popular player with other teams, but he'll be popular with his teammates. We'll put it that way. On the blue line, you got Bufflin. There's some sandpaper there. Enstrom, Myers, Trouba, Stewart, Morrissey, and Melchiori are all under contract. And Chirot is RFA. He's not going to get a big raise either. The only one I could find on their depth chart that I think he's going to get a shot is Tucker Pullman. He's going to have a shot coming into this fall of making the team. I always get asked about Logan Stanley, and I always see Jets fans arguing with other people about Logan Stanley. Here's my view on Logan Stanley. First off, he wasn't a top 10 draft pick, so it's not that controversial of a selection in my eyes. Secondly, he's a defenseman, and he's 6'6". Young kids take time to develop anyways when they're that big. When it's a defenseman, even more so. You just have to look at my Bruins, look at Zdeno Chara, and look at how many years he spent in between when he was drafted to becoming an actual dominant defenseman in the NHL. It was a long time. So for anybody to grade Logan Stanley at this point when he's still really young, he's 19 years of age, you're insane. There are plenty of cases where a player is in the NHL at 18 and out of hockey at 22, 23. And cases of players who get drafted at 18, don't make the NHL until they're 21, and they'll be there for a long, long time. So Stanley's got room to grow as a player into that frame and into that style, and they are fine on the blue line. Now, there's been a lot of talk about trading Trouba. There's been talk about Myers, who's injured quite a bit. Enstrom, is he worth what he's worth? Well, Enstrom, I believe he only has 1 year left. And he's got 1 year left. It's a $5.75 million cap hit, which is a lot, admittedly. But it's only a year. And they've got $18.7 million in cap space. So it's not like Winnipeg is dying here. Now, the fact that Winnipeg plays in a small market and their arena is not one that holds 18,000 people, that does handicap them in terms of being able to pay everybody and being able to get to the cap. Because you'd have to charge your fans even more for tickets than somewhere down the road where you've got an extra 1,500 to 2,000 tickets a night. Regardless of what those tickets are worth, that's a lot of fans. That's a lot of people. And it's the reason why, since Winnipeg got this team, I've kind of been cautiously optimistic about their long-term health. Because an arena that's got that much less in terms of capacity, it could cause a problem down the road. And it could cause Winnipeg to have an issue becoming a really true contender and a team that spends right to the cap. But goaltending, Hutchinson's the only one under contract right now for next year. And I'm sorry if that makes Winnipeg fans a little upset. Probably rightfully so. Hellebuck is RFA. Now the question becomes, does Cheveldayoff pay him for what he could be, or does Cheveldayoff pay him for what he is? If you pay him for what Hellebuck showed this year, you're giving him a 2-year contract at not a ton of money. If Cheveldayoff believes Hellebuck's the long-term solution and goal, you're going to give him a 5-year contract for more money than he's worth right now. I'm thinking Jakob Markstrom kind of cap hit of a $3.6 million a year contract. I'm not sold on Hellebuck. Doesn't mean I'm right. I don't know about Comrie on their depth chart. I don't know with Winnipeg. There's certainly room to add a goaltender, and I really believe they're going to add a goaltender. I don't know which one, but I believe they're going to add a goaltender. They're in a position where they can jump into a playoff spot. They can. They played really, really well at the end of this season. The end of this season was a really solid showing for Winnipeg, and it showed that even though they could have just tanked and got a better draft pick, that there's a lot of pride involved, and they have Laine. And I think part of the problem is everybody makes the argument of Laine versus Matthews. Okay, that's not fair, because Laine is not playing with some of the players that Matthews is playing with. I like Wheeler, but I don't know that Wheeler didn't peak last year, and now we're witnessing him slowly descending from that mountain. Scheifele's a great player. Scheifele is a key young player, and for the Jets to get over that hump, get into the playoffs, and pass some of the teams ahead of them, like the Blues, Laine and Scheifele have to be on the same page, as well as the rest of that core roster. Byfuglien has to prove his worth this coming season. Makes a lot of money. Anytime you're over $7 million a year in cap, I don't care what you left on the table, it's a lot of money in the current cap situation we're in. That $18.7 million in cap, I don't know if it gets eaten up. I think all right, I got to get my head back in this game here. Winnipeg. I'm sorry. Been a lot of videos, and I'm like, all right, now my brain's kind of scrambled with 30 different rosters. But Winnipeg, I like the look of their forward group and their defense, but they could probably use an addition both up front and on the blue line. A veteran up front and a number 5-6 guy who can play top 4 if he needs to. An example out of Boston, Lyles is a UFA. I think Lyles could fit in as a 1-year stopgap for Winnipeg. He doesn't hurt you. He can put up a few points. He's not what he was, but he's a decent fill-in. You guys can let me know the fill-ins that you see as being capable, because Winnipeg's not far off. This offseason is going to tell us whether Cheveldayoff is actually building a contender in Winnipeg, or if he's just going through the motions and keeping things the same. And I've too often seen him going through the motions and keeping things the same. The only time I've seen him make changes is usually when his hand gets forced. So we'll see if he has the guts to move a Jacob Trouba. If he lets Pavlich go and finds an upgrade in net. Or if it's Hellebuck and Hutchinson. And he says, all right, this is our goaltenders. These are the guys. That's it. Deal with it. What do you think he's going to do? Can Cheveldayoff survive another season if they miss the playoffs? My answer to that would be no. But Winnipeg seems to have a lot of patience. And I think it's to their own detriment right now. You guys have every right in Winnipeg to expect to see this jersey in the playoffs next fall. Or next spring. Now, if they make the playoffs next fall, that is something to write home about. But next spring, I would expect to see Winnipeg in the playoffs. Let me know what you think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. It's a very popular thing to do. Just like the video and hit the subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. It's fine. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the whole series if you made it through the whole series. And I appreciate each and every one of you who watch my videos. And I'll be talking to you again soon. Probably about the Stanley Cup playoff game that's going on as I record this. Thanks for watching.